Welcome to the Economic Countdown. Recently, we've been talking about the dollar crash that may be coming soon and inflation. Here are a few more thoughts along those lines. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. There's a common trend among many Wall Street analysts to dismiss inflation. They tend to talk about it like it's all in the past, hasn't been seen since the 1970s. Case in point, one opinion writer for the Washington Post recently wrote, "Remember inflation? If you, like most Americans, were born after 1981, the answer must be no." Honestly, what a completely unbelievable thing to say. Just compare the average price of a pickup truck in 1980. Average retail on a Ford F-150 XLT with options was $13,450. This year, in 2021, the base XL model starts at $30,365. If that's not inflation, I don't know what is. Worse yet, if you want the top-of-the-line model, it's going to set you back $75,945 MSRP. This is for a pickup truck that will basically do the same thing in 2021 that it did in 1980 on the base models. Throw some stuff in the back, maybe hook up a trailer, get in it, fire it up, and drive from point A to point B. In all honesty, the top-of-the-line model gets you some fluffy seats, shinier wheels, and a computer screen on the dash for about 40 grand. It's completely crazy. There are a few more things on the top-of-the-line model, but not enough to justify that kind of cost. In other words, you could buy two complete base F-150s for the cost of one top-of-the-line model. I think I'd rather have the two trucks. Someone born in 1980 would be plenty familiar with inflation. What cost $10 back then costs $26 now. But that doesn't even come close to telling the complete story. That's because the headline numbers or consumer price index flat out ignore the cost for our most basic needs, things like food, shelter, healthcare, education, and energy. And these are some very important things. In fact, they account for the overwhelming majority of American spending. Let's take a look at college tuition. Back in 1981, college tuition, including room and board, cost about $3,500 per year. Today it's $35,000, or closer to $20,000 if you stay with an in-state school. That's many times more than the headline inflation rate. Again, that's something millennials are plenty familiar with. Now let's take a look at home prices. Does that look like inflation to you? It sure does to me. Aside from the 2008 collapse, home prices have moved steadily higher these past few decades. And in fact, they've been particularly crazy hot lately. Home prices rose 10.4% in 2020, their fastest pace in 7 years. Recently, the National Association of Realtors reported that the median existing home price rose 14.1% in January to $303,900. That's a 341% increase from 1981 when the median home price was $68,900. And food prices have been heading higher too. Supermarket prices were 3.7% higher this January than they were a year ago. Prices for poultry, seafood, and dairy products increased between 4.4% and 9.6%, according to the USDA. Looking forward to this year, 2021 is expected to see wholesale pork prices rise 2 to 5%, farm-level soybean prices rise 28.5 to 31.5%, wholesale fats and oil prices rise from 6 to 9%, farm-level wheat prices rise 6.5 to 9.5%, and wholesale wheat flour prices rise 4 to 7%. How about another basic necessity, healthcare costs? Check out the chart. Is that not inflation? Everywhere we look, prices have soared in both the short and the long term. Yet we're supposed to believe that inflation is merely in our imagination, or that it simply doesn't count because the price of durable goods like washing machines and refrigerators is what's really important. Maybe when those durable goods were produced in the US, it was important, but few durable goods are still 100% produced in the US. And that's crazy. And it's a desperate way to think, not so much for economists writing on the pages of Forbes or the Washington Post, but for the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell said recently, quote, The economy is a long way from our employment and inflation goals, and it's likely to take some time for substantial further progress to be achieved. He also said, quote, could take more than 3 years for inflation to hit the Fed's desired levels. That's 3 more years of double-digit increases in food prices. 3 more years of stratospheric home prices that are great if you're an owner, tough luck if you're not. And 3 more years of rising education costs. Folks, please don't be fooled by inflation denialists, economists, analysts, even the chairman of the Fed and the news media. We see it all the time. No inflation this month, or inflation isn't hitting the target yet. Hang on to your wallet, because we're all going to be paying out of our keisters for all kinds of things for years to come. Thanks for watching the Economic Countdown. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.